All right, so for this presentation, we're going to be talking about the critical engine and VMC. Our critical engine is the engine that most adversely affects handling and performance when it becomes inoperative. And in most conventional twins, the we have one critical engine, and it's usually the left because in conventional twins, both props typically spin clockwise. Sometimes they spin counterclockwise, but if you're German or Russian. But it's typically the left engine, but counter rotating twins, um, the props are counter rotating, so therefore both engines are critical. And but we can find this by the PAST acronym. And then a light twin critical engine. Most of them are the left engine because they're conventional twins. Both props spin clockwise usually, unless you're Russian aircrafts or Brazilians. Usually counterclockwise rotate. So VMC is the minimum speed at which, when the critical engine fails, we can still maintain directional control of the aircraft. This can be described as a SMACFM, which is what the manufacturers use to determine the VMC speed, which is the red line, and that red line can vary based on these various conditions. And they found this by the S, which is a standard day, standard temperature at sea level, 15 degrees Celsius, 2992, and then at sea level. We're max power on the operative engine. We have an aft CG, which affects our rudder authority because of that small arm. Critical engine windmilling, which when the critical engine is not feathered and it's just windmilling, it creates a lot of drag, and it's really bad. It raises VMC. It's not good. Must have that propeller feathered. And our flaps and gears are up, streamlining the airplane. We have up to 5 degrees of bank, which helps with our rudder authority because we're trading off that vertical lift for some more horizontal lift, and it increases airflow across that control surface, which helps with the rudder. And then we're at our most unfavorable weight, which for a light twin is being light. For instance, if you're a sumo wrestler, you're big, you're heavy, you're harder to push around. If you're like me, you're a $160. You're easier to move around and get tossed. So, and for instance, in the aircraft, a lighter weight aircraft is easier to toss around, move. A heavier aircraft has more forward momentum. It's heavier, more forward momentum, and more weight creates more lift and more stability. And then the zero side slip condition is essentially when you have up to 5 degrees of bank, and then that ball with the turn coordinator is split with that operative engine in the middle, and it creates you're able to maintain directional control and everything's stable that way. Typically within those range with the up to 5 degrees of bank and then the ball split. And then for our scenario, when we experience the loss of power of the left engine, our first thing to do is to maintain directional control. Next is pitch for VYSC, which is the blue line. We put our mixes, our props, and our throttles forward. We make sure our flaps, our gears are up, and then we identify with the dead foot. We verify with the throttle, and then we go into, since we're below, for instance, we're below 3,000 feet, so we shut down and secure the dead engine and declare an emergency. And then we land at the nearest airport. Land at the nearest airport with facilities that can help you out. For instance, I wouldn't land at my home airport. I would go next door over to St. Pete Clearwater, where they have more emergency services like fire trucks, ambulances. They have larger runway, and just all around better services. So if I'm flying on one engine, I'd rather go there. Thank you.